Because you spend more time at home as a professional athlete. Gone for 2 hours in the morning, maybe an hour for weights, and then maybe 2 hours at night. So you're spending a lot more time at home. So it was really important that I made a space that I loved. You're just like, oh, I can't wait to go home and just be.
Everyone deserves a home that brings them joy. Maybe you're an artist or a collector, or maybe you're an athlete or an audiophile. Everyone deserves a home that's a reflection of their personality. So we wanted to talk to some of the most interesting and inspiring people we could find about how their personalities and their passions impact the homes they live in today. Natalie Hinds is an Olympic bronze medal swimmer, a 5-time world champion, and a 20-time All-American. She's an advocate for diversity in competitive swimming and a mentor helping bring access to underrepresented communities and breaking barriers both in and out of the pool. She's also a textile artist, a tapestry designer, and a public speaker. What's up, Natalie? It's great to meet you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jeffrey. I'm very honored to be here today. When you're reading all that stuff out, I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm pretty cool sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to swim. That was what I did in my other life. And I'm from Midland, Texas. Very much no water there. But I'm still super heavily involved in the sport. So I'm super excited to talk about that.
Can I ask what home looked like growing up?
Yeah, we just lived a nice upper middle class life, I would say. I was, part of a 2-parent household, and I was very fortunate to really never have to wonder if I could do something or there'd be any barrier of entry with resources or anything like that. So as I grow older, I am more appreciative of my childhood and what my parents were able to expose us to. And I mean, literally, becoming a swimmer is one of the reasons why. My mom was swimming with me while she was pregnant, so she always had me in the water, I guess you could say.
Was there a pool at home? You're not near any body of water.
So weirdly enough, in Midland, there was this amazing swim complex called City of Midland Aquatics. But my neighbors had a backyard pool. That's where I initially learned how to swim. So very grateful to my neighbors. We went over there every day in the summer, and I just couldn't wait to climb the fence to go over there to swim. And I had to be dragged back across the backyard when it was time to leave.
Was there a time that you can remember that it went from being something you were just in love with to being something that you wanted to do competitively?
I remember being 8 or 6 and always wanting to win, always wanting to be at the bottom of the age group and wanting to beat everyone. And I had a natural talent for swimming, so to an extent, I won all the time. And then once I hit puberty and was obviously I'm sitting down now, but I'm 6'2" and kind of became 6'1" at age 12. You can imagine the awkwardness and just the trying to figure it out. So that was kind of a challenge. But honestly, around 12 to 13 was when I was like, oh, I want to go to school. I want to get a full scholarship. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to do it all. But obviously didn't understand it was not a sign-up sheet. It was a lot more work to get there.
So the next step was going to University of Florida?
Yeah.
When you were training there, what was home and life like?
A journey, I guess you could say. I mean, you're a freshman and you're away from home for the first time. Unbelievable in some ways. Greatly unbelievable in some ways. In some ways, I remember, you go to school in August. By October, I was in Einstein's bagel line and just busted out crying because I was so homesick. And that's kind of my first instance of how full and how whole I felt in my home with my parents. And I'm very grateful because not a lot of people feel like that. Some people can't wait to leave home. I love being home with my parents. That is the place to be. We are our best friends. It's a nice way to unplug for me. But in college, I lived with a track runner, a hammer thrower, and a volleyball player. So
oh, wow.
I was very exposed to different sports. I had a new group of friends that were out of swimming, and that's kind of where I started my, real social life, I guess you could say.
How are you making time just to be a human being when you're training at such a high level?
It's interesting you asked that question. In college swimming, your life is pretty much planned out for you. Obviously, you party on the weekends, you scramble to get everything ready for a test. You learn about time management in college. But as far as swimming D1, your schedule's pretty much laid out. The Bible says you go to practice at 2, you go to practice at 6 a.m., you go to this meet. You have to do those things. I mean, I had built-in social time, to be honest. dinners, lunches, study hall. We loved going to study hall for everything other than studying. So that's kind of like where I built in time to like hang out with friends and stuff. I graduated from the University of Florida in December of 2016, and I moved to Atlanta 6 months later to do a year-long internship with March Madness. So
Cool.
I believe my career was done. It had ended very poorly at Olympic trials in 2016. And I was really, really burnt out. So I did that. I learned a lot. I met cool people. I, was able to live on my own for the very first time. I encourage everyone to at least live alone for a year. I think it's really important for your self-growth. 2 years went by and I just knew I wasn't done. And it was something that I kept very close to my chest. I only told my mom and my dad. And then I started swimming by myself at 5 o'clock in the morning before work. I wanted to do a little trial period with myself before I was like, let me see where I can swim. I decided to go to UGA for proximity and because the coach that was there, he's since retired, is like such a legend. So I moved there in September of 2018. And that was when I was truly a professional swimmer.
When you're in that round of training and getting back into it, even if it's happening kind of secretly, are there things that you're building into your daily life or things that you're bringing into your home to, number one, like make that consistency of ritual and routine easier?
Yeah.
And then maybe on the flip side, like, are you building space and time for like calmness and recovery after it all?
For me, it was really important to change not only my mentality, but like my relationship with pretty much everything, my home included. Like, no longer could I just rot on the couch. I felt like I became more intentional, making my space functional enough to where I had everything I needed when I needed it. Because you spend more time at home as a professional athlete. Like, obviously you travel a lot and things like that, but you're not really gone all the time. You're gone for 2 hours in the morning, maybe an hour for weights, and then maybe 2 hours at night. So you're spending a lot more time at home. So it was really important that I made a space that I loved and felt comfortable with. And so this tapestry behind me, I didn't make that, but I bought that. That's been with me since freshman year. So keeping that ahead of we're in my office now, but I always used to have it above my bed because to me, elephants are very calm. They're very all-knowing. So I had that over my bed. I got a brand new mattress. I got new lights, really got into plants and really just like making my place somewhere where I wanted to look around and making sure that there's a lot of natural light. And you just, little things like that really do make a difference when you're exhausted from practice all the time. And you're just like, oh, I can't wait to go home and just be.
If you had to do it all again with an unlimited budget, are you bringing in saunas and cold plunges? What's the dream training home look like for you?
The dream? Okay, so it's funny you say that because I kind of made my apartment in Athens that way. Like, Athens is really, I don't know about now, but it was really cheap. So I had like a really big 2-bedroom apartment. So I used 1 bedroom. In my mind, I dedicated it for everything pre-practice, everything post-practice. So I would meditate in there. I would do my breathing exercises in there. I would do my stretching and foam rolling in the morning and at night in there. So if I had an unlimited budget, I would have a separate space for all of that because I felt like when I went into that room, I knew what I was doing. Like, I knew what I was in there for.
What about pools? We've had the opportunity to design homes around plunge pools and lap pools and
like, what's my dream pool?
Yeah.
Definitely one I can swim, so it's got to be 25 yards in the least. But I do like the pools that have like a little ledge so that if you did want to use it for a party purpose or anything like that, you could. Yeah, I would love to have a like one laner because it's just such a pain if you don't have a pool you can go to, like to pay and like to find the times and share lanes and do all those like political things. It'd be nice to just walk in my backyard and just hop in and hop out.
What is your relationship with the water and the pool now? Do you still have that childish love for it, or does it kind of feel like a place of work and competition?
We're in the in-betweener stage now. I would say when I first retired, I just didn't really care to go because I felt that everything I had to do, I had to descend everything, and everything had to be a build, and everything had to end faster than I started. And I think the hardest part about retiring is realizing like you don't have to do that anymore. Like you truly just can just enjoy the sport for what you started it for. And this is like pretty in the weeds, so bear with me as I explain.
Yeah.
But like as a Black person, you have to sacrifice like the health of your hair. Everybody has to sacrifice the health of their hair, but I feel like I really did. I couldn't do certain hairstyles because they wouldn't fit in a cap. And really just had to make myself fit for swimming because I had so many goals, and I was like, I'm willing to make the sacrifice. So now that I'm not swimming, I have allowed myself to do whatever I want to with my hair. If I want to do like waist length braids, I'm going to do it. And then I'm just not going to swim because like, you know, they're not going to fit in a cap. So
That's when you'll sit on the ledge.
that's when I'll sit on the ledge and I'll enjoy a nice cocktail by the pool and just enjoy myself. I swim probably twice a week. And I've now gotten to a point where like I live in Florida. I'm enjoying the sun and I'm enjoying doing an activity as well. So I'm at a good place with it. I know like some of my friends are still working through it, and it's truly a process. Like that's just the dark side of having something in your life that big for so long. Like you truly have to unlearn pretty much everything that goes along with it to just enjoy the sport and to enjoy the hobby again.
Yeah, I was just having one of these conversations with a musician friend of ours, and at some point this thing that you're obsessed with as a child becomes your career, and you have to sometimes force yourself to remember that this is just the thing you love and not just the thing that you do for work.
Yeah, because once you become a professional swimmer and you have to like pay bills and like, you know, essentially you're a freelancer. I mean, unless you get signed with a company, like a tech suit company. I was grateful enough to do so, but like leading up to the Olympics, I wasn't signed to anyone. So there's an element of fearfulness there that if you don't swim well, you're just not going to get paid. And like, you know, other than saying I get to do this because I'm so good at it and I love it, you really start to realize that like after I retired, I had a job in medical device sales. And that is when it hit me. I was like, wow, I used to get to do what I absolutely loved to do. Like, no strings attached. I was good at it. I had so many friends. I loved it from many different angles. And so many cool experiences have come from swimming. And so then when I wasn't swimming and I was doing something I absolutely hated, did I realize like, wow. And, you know, regardless of how you exit the sport, like my time was up. I truly just didn't want to do it anymore, which is fine to admit. But it is a cool time in our life that I feel like it needs, like you need to hold on to those like memories and those feelings for sure. Because regular life is much different.
It seems like you had a relatively healthy exit from it. Do you keep some medals and mementos and stuff out on display as a reminder of it? Or did you have to kind of compartmentalize all that stuff and...
No, it's interesting, Jeffrey, you asked me that because, yes, I had a healthy exit from the sport. I felt like I promised myself when I wasn't having fun, it was over with. And I think I had 2 to 3 meets where I wasn't having fun, and then I just called it then. Obviously, it was very sad and a lot of emotions and the whole thing. You're like literally going into a grieving process. So as far as mementos, I love them. And yeah, I'll keep them out. But to me, it was really like I was hit hard with the journey. Like I was like, I just want to go to the Olympics. That's it. And then once I like was on this journey of like learning these things about myself and seeing them come to fruition in the pool, I was like, wow, this is crazy. So when I did get the medals, it was amazing. Like, but I was already in shock anyways by the fact of like, wow, I really wanted to do this. And I was able to train and sacrifice and do all these things that I didn't think I could do. Here I am. And so the things are great, but they're just things. I have them. I actually was talking to my boyfriend that I need to get my, we have an Olympic flag that we all sign. I still haven't got it framed. I think it's like an odd size or something. So it's like you have to like put effort to go figure it out. And I just haven't done that yet. But eventually, yes. I still have kept my suit and my caps. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're all just things, and I have them. I just don't necessarily feel like, I might look at them maybe like once or twice a year, just wow, the memories, and then I continue on.
Our clients have written hit songs and launched iconic art galleries, designed timeless fashion and produced classic films, crafted stunning furnishings, developed addictive games, and founded innovative companies. They deserve a home where they can rest, play, and be inspired. We're the Up Studio, and we design creative places for creative people.
Can you talk more about that, the advocacy you're doing now to, bring maybe sport in general, but certainly swimming to some of these underrepresented communities?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying like I'm the 4th African American swimmer female to make an Olympic team, which is like super crazy to say. I'm very honored that's where my path was. I do feel like with that path there comes some responsibility, whether I want to take that responsibility on or not, to be a role model to Black and brown kids and underrepresented minorities in the sport. But in my journey, I have found that there's like a disconnect between not only like obviously kids have lessons, bringing them into a place where they can receive lessons, and maybe they have the talent to be on a competitive swim team and really be somewhere and like nurture that growth. That's what I had. That's what Simone Manuel had. That's what Leah Neal had, and some other notable Black swimmers. We all had resources. The barrier of entry was super low to us, and that's like an anomaly. I seem to find that there's a disconnect after kids learn lessons and what information is provided to them, and even coaches too. So one of my biggest passions is like exposure for these kids. So how can we obviously give them money and grants and do clinics there, or, the list goes on, but also like how can we bring them to a pro series meet, or how can we bring them to a nationals one day, so they can like see, oh my gosh, like, wow, this is like what's next for me. So a lot of my passion in the work that I'm doing is to bring exposure to these areas, and whether that is going and sharing my story and answering questions. Like I remember I went down to the Jack and Jill Foundation. It was founded by Black mothers to help expose their kids to literally a myriad of things. That month's theme was swimming. So I went down to the chapter in Port St. Lucie and honestly just I spoke to the kids, but also answered parents' questions. And that you would even believe they're like the most simple questions, but like that's kind of where we're at. Like they just don't know how to navigate being the only Black kid on the team, how to navigate being parents of the only Black kid on the team. A lot of people stop swimming for the craziest reasons, like because their hair. So there's just small little barriers of entry that I feel like I could shed light on and help people with.
You said you're in Florida again now. Are you connected to the ocean or natural bodies of water, or is your time in the water always in a pool?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of large bodies of water, no. I will go in the ocean, but if I can't see anything, like I'm not going in. I enjoy the vibe of the beach. Like I enjoy going in and getting cool and coming back out, but I'm not one of those people you have to pull out of the ocean because she's just like hanging out. You don't have to worry about that with me. I'm hanging out under an umbrella, reading a book.
You just reminded me of something completely off topic, and I just need to selfishly ask.
Please, yes.
Can you see each other when you're swimming? You just said in the ocean you can't see enough, but like, do you know in the moment if you're winning?
It depends on the race, but in a 50 you can't really see anything. Like you shouldn't. Let me put it this way: if you can see something and make a thought about it, you're not.
Sure.
Like you shouldn't be worried about, whoever. But it all happens so fast that like you can't really be giving thought to it. It's just kind of like a subconscious thought.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, it reminds me of what you were saying about the balance of, the physical training and the, mental strength of. I can't wrap my head around how much you have to turn off in that moment and just focus on the task at hand.
Yeah. Mind work, whether you are meditate, whether you do breath work, whatever you do. I downloaded the Calm app And I just did it on repeat, like for 3 months. And it wasn't an overnight thing, but it truly forced me over time, without even knowing it, to focus in like so internally, that when I opened my eyes, I was like, oh my God, I'm in my room. And so that's how I started to realize, like, okay, I have this ability now to like really focus. But like you said, once I was able to stop worrying about everyone, because I was a worrier. I was like, why is she warming up now? Or why are they like things that I should not be worrying about that at all. So I remember just showing up to trials, and even the meets before that, I remember, like you said, being so calm and being so confident in just what I can do. And I love swimming for so many reasons, but one of the reasons is because it's very parallel to life, in my opinion. There are so many lessons that you learn from swimming that can be transferred over to regular life. And one of those is having confidence in your abilities, whether it's physical, mental, or your knowledge of something. Mindfulness just kind of stems into everything that I do. And I commend people who can do it in regular life and compartmentalize, because it's really, really tough.
Well, you mentioned your tapestry and the art that you've been creating was a response to some of your anxiety. Also, can you tell us more about that?
In my quest to learn more about myself, I would take myself to Barnes and Nobles like every Sunday or something like that. And I would just like pick a couple books to read. I wouldn't buy them, but I would just read them and then leave. I was in the line to check out or something like that, and I saw they had these like macrame kits. And I was like, interesting. Like, I'm not interested in macrame, but cool. Then they had some tapestry ones, and I was like, oh. So I picked up the kit and took it home, and I just kind of was like, okay, let me just try it out. And it was so bad. Like, I was like, I don't even really know what to do with my fingers. I was following it to a T, because I love guidelines. Like, tell me what to do and how to do it, and I will. It's kind of like a bowling alley. Like, just put the gutters up and I'm good to go, but I just need those gutters up. So I think that was the biggest challenge for me, was that like weaving, you could do whatever you want. You could make it, use whatever colors, whatever textures, you could do whatever. And it was very overwhelming for me. So I made that first one, and I was like, damn, I'm pretty bad at this. Like, I'm obsessed. So I like invested in all of this stuff. I went to Joann's. I bought all of this cheap yarn without doing any like, research, but that came later, of like what's best and, all the things. So it's just a great escape of, like once they canceled the Olympics, it was like, okay, so the whole reason I came back to the sport has now been canceled. I'm feeling anxious. So when I went home with my parents for COVID is kind of when it really took off, because I had unlimited time to just be in this space, in this creative space. And it was like, I couldn't wait to finish one tapestry because I had an idea for the next one. And it was just like this snowball effect. And then once someone was like, oh my God, can I buy that? Yeah, sure. Like, you can buy it. Do you want to change the colors? Yeah. So it just kind of turned into this like abstract style that I have. Like, I don't have two tapestries that are the same. I was constantly challenging my left side of my brain, like the creative side. The exercise alone was really cool. But yeah, it took over my life for sure.
It's funny to hear you talk about using that side of your brain, but then also you can hear the competitor in your voice of like, I need to get this perfect, and I need to figure this
the real
out.
Thing. It's like, so what's the word? Like, competitor is a good word, because on Instagram, the weaving world is a completely different world. They are some of the nicest people you have ever met. Everyone else's cheerleader. But I remember when I was really, really new, people were doing like techniques that I couldn't figure out how they were doing them. And it like kept me up at night. I was like, oh my gosh, so maybe she like did this. And I would try it and try it and try it. And through that, I made it my own. But it's in everything I do. I'm like, I have to learn how they do that, because it's not kosher to ask, because it's like it's like, how did you do your work? Like, you don't want to share your secrets. And that's how I knew I made it in the weaving world, when people were like, hey, how did you do this? Like, I know your work when I see it. I think it's like one of the best compliments I've gotten.
Cool, yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, I have a style. Like, we're good.
Where else does that competitive spirit show up at home? Are you competitive cooking and hosting and doing board games? What are we doing?
always competitive with some board games. There's always a competitiveness within myself to just be better. Now I just lift weights and I work out. And I'm always, there's always that voice in the back of your head, like, you could go harder. Are you doing everything that you need to do? And sometimes, like, we could argue it's destructive, but that's kind of what keeps the competitors, like, on edge, I guess. But I have learned to, like, it's okay to rot on the couch for a day. Like, you don't have to feel bad about it. So there's always some unlearning that goes into retirement. I would say that this year and a half has definitely just been a process, figuring out who is Natalie Hinds without swimming. But I've been very fortunate to, like, I did a gig with NBC at Nationals, and even there I was competitive.
Cool.
I was, like, looking at other people who were doing bigger interviews, like, I want to do that. I always have this, like, I have to do it all the time, which can be destructive, but I've learned, like, how to turn it on and turn it off.
What would be in your dream home gym?
Oh my God, I can't wait to have a home gym. I tell you what. I would love to have a platform, obviously. A regular platform for squats, for all of the things. A place to do box jumps. An arc trainer, so random.
Ooh, what's that?
It's basically an elliptical, but, like,
Okay.
more running. And then, like, a little baby turf. I'm gonna have to have a big gym if I want to have a little turf, but I would like a sled.
All right, and then on the competitor side of it, what are you putting in this ideal home for games? Are we doing sports courts? Are we doing golf simulators, bowling alleys? What are we doing?
Golf simulator. If I could have a simulator at the house, that would be unbelievable. I love playing cards. We would have cards in there. I get unbelievably competitive with cards.
We'll send you a copy of our card game so that you guys can plan your dream home together.
Thank you. I appreciate
I'll
it.
warn you ahead of time, there's no way to win, so sorry.
Okay. Well, then I'm not interested anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
But then there's no way to lose also, so
everybody just has a good time.
Yeah, I think it's fun. You guys will have a good time planning your dream gym and your dream pool and all that kind of fun stuff in your future home. Thank you so much for doing this. I don't want to take any more of your time.
Thank you for having me.
It was really great to hear from you and hear how your passions have, kind of manifested in your home.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jeffrey. I appreciate it.
As we discuss in these conversations, we really believe that the best home designs are the ones that are the most personal. So if you're looking to pair your personality, your passions, and your lifestyle with home design amenities for a future project, jump over to our website or check out our card game, Personal Space.